have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. And today I have with me Joyce Wheeler, and she was another one of my diamond in the roughs that I found on Facebook in the group when I just said, hey, does anybody have a song that they really want to talk about? And she was one of the eager people that had a song she wanted to share with us. So thank you so much for your time and for joining me today, Joyce.
Well, thank you, Tiffany, so much for having me. It's good to be here.
Awesome. If you wouldn't mind, tell my audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you are, that kind of thing.
I am in Louisiana, and I teach individuals how to maximize their health for a better quality of life holistically with my products and speaking. I formulate organic skincare. I also sell shungite, which is for protection against the electromagnetic field. When my hand is operational, I design and make jewelry with crystals, make tinctures. I'm dabbling in teas right now. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow. You're busy. You do have your hand in a lot of things.
I'm passionate about a lot of different things. So, yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, and it sounds like they're all centered around like health. So that makes sense that, you're treating the mind, you're treating the body, the environment, that kind of thing. So that makes sense that they would all go together. I mean,
yeah, my husband's always telling me, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. I said, but it's all geared around the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes him be quiet. He's like, oh, she's right.
She's got a point. Huh?
Right. I can't say much now.
That's funny. So do you guys have children? Are they grown? What's the story there?
We are a mixed family. So okay. I have 3 from my first husband who passed away in 2004. And then my current husband, he's divorced and he has 2 grown. They're all grown.
Okay.
Mine is the youngest out of all of them, and he's 23.
Awesome. You guys have grandbabies yet?
He does. I don't. And okay. I'm perfectly fine with it, the way this world is right now. It'd just be one more thing to worry about. But he has 3 grandsons from one of his sons, and then his other son has a daughter.
Okay. Well, that's kind of fun, right? Keeps you on your toes. Are they close by?
No, they're in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Which is where he's from. So, and I'm originally from Chicago. So when my first husband passed away and then we met, I married and moved to Tennessee and spent 5 years in Tennessee. We've been in Louisiana now for 12 years as of last month.
Okay. Wow. That's a long time. I have a pretty close friend here in town, and she is from Louisiana and her parents come visit sometimes. So
We're at Louisiana.
With your business and everything, do you feel like that is kind of the reason that the song that you chose comes to you, or is there some different meaning with the song? So if you want to jump into the song that you chose, why you chose it, fill us all in.
Well, I chose Rise by Katy Perry. And the reason I chose it is because of my business. When you're in business for yourself, you have downtimes, times when things aren't going too well. So I have a playlist that I put together on YouTube to help keep me motivated. And the song Rise is one of them. But, as you know, Tiffany, right now I'm kind of dealing with an issue with my hand where it's not totally functional. So I also find it appropriate for this time, that I will still rise.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is a good time to jump into the words a little bit. I mean, I felt like this song was so powerful that what it really made me think of was, for people who have seen the movie Frozen, when Elsa is on that mountain and she just plants her feet firmly in the ground and she just kind of calls, a spade a spade. She's just like, here I am. This is what I stand for. I think that that's kind of what this song is. Not that this is what I stand for, but dominating or powerful or resilience, there's just an image of resilience in this song. I thought that was so great. So I think that's really appropriate that you use it when you're doubting yourself or, we all do hit slumps. So it's pretty normal. Even people who don't have their own businesses hit slumps.
Right. It's part of life, that we go through. It's what I've always used too, whenever if I'm sad or, not so much now, but especially in my teen years, there were certain songs that I would play that would just make me feel better. And music was a big part of my childhood because my dad was very much into music. He wanted to be a
Mm.
DJ. So there was always music in the house on the weekends, especially when he was not working. So, yeah, music's always been a big part of my life and a big way for me to express myself. So it kind of surprised me when I've told people that I had this motivational playlist, they were like, oh, really? And because I was like, doesn't everybody have a motivational playlist? If you
I know, I
don't,
do too. So I hear you.
if you don't, you need to get one.
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
then I got my feel good one, with all my upbeat stuff that I could just jump around the house too.
Yeah, absolutely. For Memories of the Beat, I actually have a playlist. So every song that I interview someone on, it goes into a playlist. And I think this is probably the third or fourth Katy Perry
Wow.
song, just because, it is motivational, inspiring, uplifting. Roar was one of them. And I'm trying to think of
Yeah,
what the other one was, but they bring that out in you, that animalistic desire to thrive and succeed.
right. That Roar is another one that is on my playlist.
Oh, it makes total sense.
Also, Firework.
That's the other one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for saying it because it reminded me of that was the one that she picked. Well, when the song opens up, I really love that she says, "You can't write my story. I am beyond the archetype." So I feel like we're always people, humans in general, always want to fit in these little boxes, or like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and she's basically saying, like, you can't put a label on me. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to survive. I'm going to be me. And I think that's probably part of the reason, maybe why, and you can confirm or deny, but why you relate to this song is because, you are kind of dabbling in all these different areas surrounded around, health for mind, body, and soul. And you can't really write Joyce's story because you're constantly finding these new little avenues, that make up part of who you are, but not to be put in a box.
I love the fact that you said, not being put in a box. It kind of makes me be like, man, why didn't I wear my shirt that says, why be normal?
No.
It would have been good, but I don't want to be put in a box. It gets me with the millennials these days because they're labeling everything. And I'm like, I've tried for so long to get away from labels, and you people want to label everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to get a sticker that says, I'm me. Hello, I'm me.
That's the label.
Yeah, I'm me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as, when you have children, it's like, oh, it's Brittany's mom, or, what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not bad. But I don't want those labels on me.
Yeah.
I am who I am. I'm a person. I'm an individual. There's no one else out there like me. And boy, am I glad.
Well, and sometimes too, those labels can be limiting. So if someone always says, this is a bad example, but I was watching the Kardashians and Kim was saying she was hosting Saturday Night Live, and afterwards everyone was saying how great she did and how funny she was. And she's like, but I'm not funny. I'm not funny. So I'm surprised that she even agreed to do it because she has like such a strong label on herself that she's not funny. You know what I mean? So it can be limiting in that respect.
Right.
When someone says something, then you buy into it.
That was where my problem labels first started. Is my stepson from my first marriage was labeled ADHD. And then my cousin was labeled LD, learning disabled. They used that because they've got this label. It's like, well, I can't do this because I'm like that. And it's like, why are you taking that label and putting it on yourself?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. And as far as I'm concerned, I think the school systems did stuff like that. Number one, but my stepson, a very smart boy, and he just questioned things. And I don't think the teachers wanted to deal with it. And so let's put him on meds and shut him up,
Yeah.
Teachers don't want to deal with these kids. But also, there's different learning types. With the schools, they put us all in this one box. This is how you're supposed to learn. So now we have another box. We have so many boxes in our society.
Yeah, they're very limiting for sure. I feel like from what you just said, we're on the same page. ADHD, let's just call a spade, right? They got it. Okay, fine. But it doesn't have to define you. I was editing a different podcast, and this lady is an ADHD productivity coach. So she helps people that have ADHD to be more productive. And she said, lots of times, these are CEOs. These are more curious, more creative people because the world tells them you're not made for this world. So they continue to explore and try to find different solutions so that they are more part of the world. So a lot of times ADHD actually sounds like it's kind of amazing, just some of the good qualities of having ADHD, you know? I mean, I think my husband probably has it, but he is the most productive guy. He always has his hands in something, kind of like yourself, always kind of dabbling in new little projects and everything. And I think it's so cool that he's so curious. I love that about him.
My stepson, his name is Emo, he actually took himself off of the Ritalin when he was in his teens. I didn't see it did any good. It's like as long as he was doing something he wanted to do, he was fine. I was with him since he was 2. So he was very young, and I will call him my son. Both of his parents have passed away, and his grandparents. So it's like me and his brothers and sister are like the only family he really has. So we've gotten close. But when he was doing something he wanted to do, he was fine. Like any child, once he got bored, then he got a little rambunctious.
Yeah.
I don't see the need for that label.
Yeah.
It's like when I was growing up, we didn't have all these labels. People didn't have ADHD. They didn't have learning disabilities. We didn't even have autism or Alzheimer's, at least not like it is right now. Those things just didn't exist. I didn't know of anybody when I was growing up who had a food allergy.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God you're out there with some other solutions for people, to moisturize their body or take a shower or, whatever the products are that, are out there that can help people avoid some of those chemicals or outside influences that, have done damage to our bodies for sure.
Well, and that's the thing too, is now they're calling it fatty liver disease. So it looks like psoriasis, but they don't drink because our liver is filtering all the garbage. It is so bombarded and taxed with so many toxins that it can't function the way that it needs to. So it's becoming overburdened. Like I said, they're calling it fatty liver disease. We are dealing with a lot of toxins. And the thing with the beauty care industry is very loosely regulated. They use approximately 1,800 different chemicals, with approximately 5,000 of those being toxic. And anything you put onto your skin goes into your bloodstream. So you're looking at chemicals that cause cancer, that disrupt your immune system, your nervous system, your reproductive system, your digestive system. And then you have some of the products out there that claim to be natural or organic. They don't have to include all the ingredients on their label because it's a formula. So I was like, okay, when I found this, I'm like, well, I can't trust anybody. So what am I going to do? And that's when I started formulating my own. But then people started commenting on my skin. Oh, your skin looks so good. It looks so good. What are you using? So I was handing some off to friends, and then they were like, you should sell this. I hesitated because, especially with my scrubs, because I do use organic plant-based ingredients, they smell very earthy. And our society is all about the senses. How does it look? How does it smell? Especially the smell. I've had a lot of people who just cannot get beyond the smell. I have other customers that's why they like my products, is because they have that earthy smell.
Yeah.
I do include all of my ingredients on the label. My husband said I shouldn't. And I'm like, number one, I want to be transparent. I don't want to be like those other people. I said, and number two, I said, they don't know the formula. That's why I don't understand why these companies just don't put the ingredients on. What do you have to hide?
Yeah, I agree. That's the first thing I think too. So I think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, we've had disagreements because part of my branding is that I believe everybody has a right to have good quality products at reasonable prices. And both him and my daughter have been on me telling me I need to raise my prices. And I think I'm going to. And the reason is that some people have the mindset that if you don't have to dish out a whole bunch of money for it, that's not good.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of silly, but it's true.
I mean, I kind of understand the mindset because when I'm shopping, of course, it depends on what I'm shopping for. I'll look at like what's in the middle. I won't go high. I won't go low. But that's with certain things.
Yeah. Got a podcast? Are you loving it, but not loving how much time post-production takes? Or maybe you just have other tasks calling your name a little bit louder. Virtually You can help. Check out virtuallyouva.com, supporting you in all things podcasting, like editing, show notes, audiograms, and much more. See the link in the show notes. They're waiting to give you back your time. And on that note, let's get back to the show. Have you shared this song with Emo or your playlist?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't really shared it with anybody because it's just for me.
For you. Yeah. I could see this being inspirational for him too, though. I mean, just to dig deep and know that, you're in charge of everything. Are there specific words in this song that like really pop out to you? Or when she sings part of it that you're just like, oh, yes, absolutely.
I love the line words, the verse where it says, I won't just conform no matter how you shake my core, because my roots, they run deep. I'm very much against society. I'm a rebel. I am a rebel.
Well, and I actually like the words that come right after it. Oh, ye of so little faith, don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Victory is in my veins. Like she's telling these people, you can tell me all you want that I'm not going to succeed at whatever this is. But you are so silly because my roots run deep. Ye of little faith, don't doubt it because victory is in my veins. I love that so much.
I also like words, and I will not negotiate. I'll fight it. I'll fight it. I will transform.
Yes. Yes.
And into what I want to be, not what you want me to be. That I will not negotiate on.
Yeah. And the whole song is amazing. Just even going after that, the fire's in my feet again. The vultures all start circling. They're whispering, you're out of time, but I'll still rise. This is no mistake, no accident. When you think the final nail is in, think again. She's just sticking it to the naysayers, and I love it so much.
It's an awesome song. It's really powerful. Even like in the beginning, the very beginning, where she's saying, I won't just survive. She's got this in the video. She has a parachute on her back and like she's struggling to walk.
Okay.
Did you see the video?
I did not.
In
the show notes, I always include the YouTube video. So everybody, including myself, definitely go check it out. Okay, so she starts out with this parachute on her back. Then what happens?
She's walking to where she's like laying. It's like she's kind of on a mountain because at the one point, it's like she jumped off of the mountain. Her parachute got stuck and she's dangling. And that's at the point where she says, where she's saying, I must stay conscious through the madness and chaos. So I call on my angels and they say, oh, ye of so little faith.
Okay, so that's interesting. I think in the beginning, yeah. So in the second chorus, she's saying victory's in my veins. And then when she's doubting herself, she calls on her angels and the angels are saying victory's in your veins. That's kind of a cool little imagery there where she believed in herself. And then, she's like, oh crap. And then her angels come down and say, use a little faith. Your victory is in your veins. That's cool.
And I know at one point where it's talking about transforming, she is in the water and the parachute's kind of gotten around her, kind of like a cocoon.
Okay, sure. Cool. She's so artistic like that, I feel like.
And she kind of like fights her way out of it. She's got this really cool look in that video. She's got a really cool look going on too.
Isn't that funny when you have seen the video and then listening to the song, like just in your car or something, you can totally see the video playing itself out too.
It's been a while since I've seen that video, but I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially at one point, I wasn't, but somebody was being real competitive with me in my business.
Okay.
And like copying certain things I was doing, which really pissed me off, But there I would have to, that's when I was listening to the playlist a lot, was during that time to remind myself, because they were doing this. And, I was kind of feeling like, they're going to ruin me and it would bring me down. And I was like, hell no, not happening.
Had a little Katy Perry in your ear.
Yeah. And also I'm trying to think of Eye of the Tiger is another one that's on my playlist.
That's another good one. That's another one that's been on my podcast. Yeah. And I think that's pretty common where people use music to, change their mindset or pump them up or whatever. The other day I was so bummed out. And I was like, just kind of like depressed, but I couldn't really figure out why. And I was like, I just need to listen to music. I just need to put some music on. And then it was fine. Music is so powerful in that way.
It is. It's very powerful. That's why, going back to what I said earlier, it surprised me when I tell people that I had this motivational playlist that they don't have one,
Yeah, it's a miracle worker for sure.
And, I know my daughter does, but then, once again, our family's always been strongly connected with music. When they were younger, we would put music on and we'd dance around the living room and be silly and whatnot. So it's like, I can understand why my kids would use music in the same way that I do.
Yep. Well, they saw it mirrored. Or they saw it displayed or whatever. So then they mirror that.
Yeah, I don't know, because a lot of times when I did need it to pick me up, most of the time I would like go off into the kitchen by myself and listen to music while they were doing their own thing. Or maybe they did and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's surprising when kids pick up on that we don't realize. That's why we need to be careful with children, because they do pick up things.
Yeah, I agree. Well, is there anything more that you would want to add about this song, or anything more that you want to point out with lyrics?
Nope.
Okay.
I think we pretty much covered all the lyrics, but I do want to encourage people to use music. You know, and the thing is that it stimulates the vagus nerve system. The vagus nerve system runs from the brain to the gut and interacts with all our organ parts in between and gets stagnant. And singing on the top of your lungs is one way that we can stimulate the vagus nerve system. So there's a good health tip for you. And dancing too. Go ahead and dance. You know, you're burning calories, you're having fun, and you're creating neurotransmitters and hormones that your body needs.
That's right. I completely agree. Well, if there's nothing else, thank you so much for your time. Where could my guests find you, Joyce?
They can go to heavenlybodieswellness.com and they can see the products that I do have to offer. I also have services which are available on majesticshira.com.
What kind of services do you offer?
Speaking, I realized that I'm good at reading the oracle cards for people. And I'm actually creating my own oracle deck too, which is kind of away from the health thing, but mentally, you know, because the first card that I created, I do encourage them to engage in a meditation.
Okay, very cool. All right. Well, if any of you guys are intrigued by that, we'll put that in the website so you can take advantage of some healthy products at your house, as well as maybe some mind and soul work. Podcast land, I hope that this episode was music to your ears. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.